Hi everyone, welcome to another Synergy Flavors Trendcast episode. My name is Alex Masumoto. I'm Marketing Associate at Synergy Flavors in the US. And during this episode, we're going to discuss a topic that had a lot of attention over the last year with the COVID-19 pandemic: vitamin and mineral supplements. And joining for me on this episode, I have Chris Whiting, Category Manager for Nutrition at Synergy Flavors in the UK. Hey Chris, how are you? Thanks for joining.
Hey Alex, yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so in this topic, and I'm very excited to discuss this topic. As I said, a very hot topic coming from the COVID-19 pandemic, and in 2020 coming to 2021 continues a big topic that we need to discuss. Many consumers recognize the importance of a healthy and balanced diet. However, meeting dietary needs is not as easy as it sounds, and that's where vitamin and mineral supplements come into play. But vitamin and mineral supplement products are very well known, very are known as a staple in bathroom cabinets, for example, and they often have been considered a short-term shield against seasonal coughs, for example, rather than long-term proactive support for health and wellness. But of course, because of the 19 pandemic, this has changed and changed the way how consumers see these products. In 2020, the vitamin and dietary supplements market in the US reached a value of $33.3 billion. And, of course, following the worst pandemic of our generation, this category saw 11% growth in value as consumers, priorities and routines shifted to include more of a preventive health and wellness practices in their daily lives. Chris, did you see a similar path in Europe? Similar growth in terms of market value?
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the market growth for Western Europe, it's been pretty steady for a number of years. I guess these products are viewed as probably similar to how they are in the US. Not particularly trendy, a bit old-fashioned, more focusing on, as you say, preventative, shielding against colds, things like that. But obviously, necessity has kind of dictated that this has seen a huge increase in consumption in the last year or so. So when you're looking at that, at that chart there, you can see there's a real spike in year-on-year growth between 2019 and 2020, and that's obviously in correlation with the pandemic. Other than that, it's been pretty steady growth, but we're starting to see a lot more interest and engagement within the category as well. So I'd very much expect that growth to continue at a higher trajectory going forward as well.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is that, of course, vitamin and mineral supplements products, they typically promote um, healthy lifestyles throughout supporting different needs to consumers, that being vision, mobility, brain health. But of course, this year immune health took the lead, amid pandemic center concerns. But what's interesting is that uh, immune system was already a concern, leading up to 2020, but with the pandemic that caused a surge in sales and positioned this segment to grow steadily beyond the pandemic in coming years. So COVID-19 has reinforced the importance of having a healthy immune system, not only for seasonal coughs or seasonal those times of the year that we're looking for more immunity. But as we have here in the graphic, 53% of adults say that their ideal supplement would offer immune support now, and that was a research from Intel in 2020. And 20% of global vitamin and mineral supplements launches carried an immune system support claim in the first months of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, of course, immune health has been the biggest topic around health and wellness over the past year, understandably because of the pandemic. But what's interesting too is that besides that, we're seeing that 66% of consumers still seek more than one benefit from these products. that being immune system or other two, or a combination of need states that these consumers are looking for to be solved in vitamin and mineral supplements. So Chris, what are the preferred supplement benefits that consumers are looking for today?
Yes, I think it's a really good point that you make about I guess that people have had maybe an entry point into this category through things like immune health. It's been very top of people's minds, but now we've seen a range of consumers who are more engaged with the vitamin category, and so they're almost looking at what else can these products do for me? What other areas can I suppose, enhance or fortify through supplements? And so we see some really interesting data. So these two charts we have are from Mintel, essentially asking people what their preferred benefits from supplements would be. So interestingly, the European focused one, this is actually split out into sort of two key age demographics. So you have millennials and baby boomers, and we see some really interesting similarities and differences through this. I suppose the top one there is very glaringly obvious. We see a much higher number of baby boomers saying they would prefer joint health. So 61% of baby boomers looking for products that support joint health compared with 35% of millennials. And so this is maybe more of a perhaps reactive approach to supplements. They're starting to feel the physical effects on their body, perhaps on their joints, so they're looking for something that can help with that. When you compare that to maybe some of the priorities for millennials, you see things like cognitive health is up there, but also things like stress and anxiety. There's a lot of talk about how stress and anxiety is going to be one of the biggest challenges for the millennial generation. And that's only been heightened by COVID as well. We're seeing people who have developed increased anxiety from being in lockdown and things. So there's a lot of interest in that. And that's where we're going to start to see this category move into things like nootropics as well. And we see a similar thing in the US over on the right hand chart there. A lot of people interested still in immune health, general wellness, but perhaps some of these more niche functionalities as well, which are starting to emerge. So I think it's a very interesting and exciting category, and that's, I think, an area where we'll see a lot more innovation, perhaps, in these nootropic segments.
Yeah, and talking about nootropics and innovation, I think that's a very interesting point that we need to make when it comes to vitamin and mineral supplements, right? So, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the growth of the segment over the past year. But what's interesting is that what changed was actually consumer habits towards this category. So as we said previously, consumers changed the way that they're looking to support their immune system, or other need states that they think they need, instead of the previous, like the previous habit that they had as a short-term shoot to a seasonal cough, for example. So there will be an acceleration of innovation and adoption, leading up to 2021. So the habits that were developed throughout 2020 will definitely contribute to the continued growth of supplements throughout 2025, 2030, as consumers, remain concerned about their immune system, or other need states that they think they need. And one thing that we're paying attention closely to is actually, as Chris said, the nootropics as an ingredient, or a group of ingredients that we see trending for this category moving forward. So, nootropics are the latest ingredient that claim to enhance cognitive performance, helping to improve memory, motivation, creativity, concentration, and some of these examples of these ingredients that include, caffeine can be considered nootropic, ginkgo biloba, panax ginseng. So these are just a few examples that we want to share with you. But what's interesting is that research on their effectiveness is still emerging, but there has been a spike in interest throughout the pandemic because uh, you know decreased number of people are working from home and having to adjust to new lifestyles. So this is being reflected in the recent surge of new product launches. To enhance memory, as I said, decision making abilities, ability to focus, and that's being felt in many categories, including vitamin and mineral supplements. Nootropic is predicted to be the biggest health claim trending energy drinks over the next 5 years, according to a Mintel report. And of course, this has been, that's playing a big role in other segments as well as like esports and gaming industry. Chris, energy drinks have been kind of migrating to a new word of a new position, maybe targeting esports and gaming industry. Do you think that vitamin and mineral supplements have kind of the same path to follow moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. It's ultimately about a very significant sort of blending and merging of categories where something moves from being an energy drink to a functional drink to a vitamin fortified drink. And there's so many products out there that are, I guess, straddling multiple categories, and it's hard to define them in one way. But we see this really coming through in the esports and the gaming market. I think perhaps historically there's been a bit of a maybe a sort of dismissal of this segment, with people perhaps not fully understanding exactly what what the challenges faced by professional gamers and things like that. So I think there's a really, really big opportunity here for brands to capitalize on that. And we're seeing that already to an extent. There are a few brands launching out there with, really nice, really nice packaging that really targets that demographic. And I think there's a huge opportunity as this nootropic space develops, as people become more familiar with perhaps certain ingredients that have health halos and have nootropic halos. I think we'll really see this market grow, because all the data suggests that there's a huge growing market in esports as a whole industry. So it makes sense that as prize money increases, as the number of teams increases, it would be logical for products targeting these types of areas to grow and to capitalize in any way they can. Because if you can give someone a 1% increase in their performance at that level, they will take it, and that's the difference between winning and losing. So I think that's going to really grow in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Awesome. And Chris, as a flavor company, we have to cover one of our biggest passions, right? Flavors. So talking about vitamin and mineral supplement flavor trends, what's interesting, at least here in the US, what we have been uh, according to the research, consumers are expressing an interest in trying vitamin and mineral supplements in new formats, and also new exciting flavors. This category has focused on car flavors such as orange, berries, lemons, elderberry, strawberry. Like, we have the top 5 launches over the past 3 years, uh, as the graphic shows. But younger consumers, especially consumers age from 18 to 35, show a clear preference for gummies over other formats, uh, which will change how flavor innovation will happen over the next few years. So the gummy format, may be simply more enjoyable than taking a pill, or a powder, for example, and that allow consumers to look forward to following their daily routine as the same way. So exploring new formats for vitamin and mineral supplements products has led to an increased opportunity within this category for flavor innovation, because many consumers will prefer to drink or eat their vitamins rather than swallow a whole capsule. So that will bring uh, that would bring a lot of opportunities for flavor innovation in this category, rather than the regular car flavors that we see in the market today. Would you agree with that for European consumers as well, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. Similarly, when you look at the top flavors there by launches in Europe, it's pretty core. It's orange, it's lemon, strawberry, mint, raspberry, pretty similar to the US as well. But as these products develop, we see, I think an interesting parallel would be to look at what happened with, say, BCA products, branched chain amino acid products in sports nutrition, maybe sort of 10 or 15 years ago. They were consumed almost exclusively through a pill that was swallowed. As sports nutrition became more mainstream, people wanted it to be more of a drinking occasion. They wanted actually something that they didn't just try to get it down them as quick as possible. They wanted something that tasted nice, that would rehydrate them as well. So I think we'll see a similar thing here, where people will look for different formats, and that will inevitably drive flavor innovation. And we will continue to see the core flavors, as we will always do. Citrus is going to be very big, berry profiles as well. But we might also see slight twists. We might see some of the more premium brands go down the route of maybe a yuzu instead of an orange, or maybe some more interesting tropical fruits, things like guavas, acai, pomegranate. So I think as the category develops, ultimately more brands are going to need ways of differentiating themselves from their competitors, and flavor is always one of the top ways to do that.
Oh, I agree 100%. And well, there is a lot that we can speak about this category. I'm personally very excited that what this category will bring with innovation in the next few years. But you know, getting to the end of this episode, I just wanted to mention that we have developed a research and a report around vitamin and mineral supplements that it is available in our website synergytaste.com, where Chris and we discussed a little bit, between the topics that we covered in this episode today, among other topics, and what we can expect for this segment and this market moving forward. So, Chris, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for listening to another Synergy Flavors Trendcast episode. See you next time.